What is up, YouTube? I'm back with another live stream. Josh Morgan here from Momentum Productions. Let me know if the audio is too loud. If it is, then I'll turn down the audio, but it shouldn't be. But again, I'm trying to get out at least one live stream a week. So if I don't have time for the rest of the week, this will be my live stream for that week. It is Halloween week. It's probably my favorite holiday of the whole entire year. I just love horror. Horror is my favorite. Horror is my favorite genre. So eventually, once I have a team together, I would love to shoot my first ever horror shoot. So that's going to involve a lot of lighting. Lighting is key here. Script writing as well. You have to have a really good writer. I'm not that good at writing a script, but I am good at idea creation. So I have ideas in my head. I'm just not good at, writing out stuff. So hopefully in the next couple years, I'll be able to start working on my first horror project. Again, I have to find a good writer for that. Yeah, so lighting is important for setting the mood, and different camera maneuvers are very important. I don't know if you guys watched my latest video that I released today. It was all about the gimbals that I currently have, except for the King TV Argo and Smooth Q. Those are also gimbals that I have. They weren't shown in that video. But with the Fossil-Cam stabilizer, I'm able to control the horizon kind of similar to like a glide cam. So that's really unique, especially for horror, because in horror movies, you see a lot of distorted shots, some things that you're not really used to seeing, and it disorients the mind. So that's a great way to incorporate some of that if you decide to make a horror film. You want to disorient your audience. If they're confused, if they're disoriented, they're not going to expect what's coming up. That's what, if you go to the movies right now and you watch horror movies, you're most likely going to be disappointed with it because they don't incorporate disorientation. And disorientation is one of the #1 key factors in creating a horror film. You want to disorient the actors, the audience, or the viewers. They do this a lot in war movies, like Saving Private Ryan. You hear that whenever a bomb goes off, you hear that, that really loud, high-pitched noise, when your ears go deaf. That's a great form of disorientation right there. It makes the audience feel like they're a part of the movie, and that's what you want with horror. So you want to disorient them, use different camera maneuvers, and all that other good stuff. So that's my little rant on horror movies. Halvin Wolf, what's up? Hitu, what's up, man? Kalus Yu, what's up, man? CMAC 2013 is asking, what is your pick for a DSLR with the best 4K and still images? That will probably have to go to the Sony A7R Mark Trace. The new Sony A7R III has just been released, and I am so excited about it. However, I won't be buying it because I just put down $4,500 on the new Sony A9. And I don't need all those megapixels. 24 megapixels is more than enough. I used to have a 5D Mark II and it had 21 megapixels, and that was more than enough. So I'm happy with my Sony A9. I will be keeping it for a couple years at least. So for those of you who are looking for a new camera and have a budget of around $3,000, the Sony A7R Mark III is your best bet. You're getting the best of both worlds when it comes to video and photo into one camera. So Sony A7R Mark III is your best bet. Calusiu, I use Crane 2. Crane 2 is a new stabilizer for those of you who don't know. With the Sony A6500, you prefer I use crane only or with a tripod when doing dolly slider movements? When you're trying to get slider movements, definitely use a tripod. You're not gonna get that up and down movement that sometimes we recreate. I actually created a video using the Fidutech A2000 on recreating dolly and slider moves. You would notice that in some of my footage when I'm trying to recreate the sliding move, you can see a little bit of up and down movement. So I would much rather use a tripod for that. But when it comes down to dolly, all you got to do is master the technique of walking and properly holding the stabilizer. That way you will get the most accurate dolly ins and dolly outs. But again, with the sliding moves, definitely mount it on a slider, on a tripod, excuse me. I'm trying to look for my glass of water that disappeared. I'll get it later. It's okay. CMAC 2013. God, I was hoping you didn't say that, but I must have been looking at it. Laugh out loud. But yeah, why not say that? Is it expensive? Is that why? I mean, here's the thing that I'm dealing with a few issues with, you know, spending money. Don't submit to spending money on things that you don't need. Sony's going to be releasing new cameras every year. You're going to have to accept it and deal with it. Instead of investing on the camera bodies, invest in the glass, invest in the lenses. So I have to just stop spending money on camera bodies. The Sony A9 will be my last camera I will buy for the next couple of years, I hope. Unless Sony does something crazy cool with the Sony A7S Mark III, which I don't think they will. With these tiny bodies, you're not going to get 4K 60. I'm just looking at the reputation of the overheating issues and all that other stuff. So unfortunately, I don't see the A7S Mark III having 4K 60, which is kind of worth of an upgrade. And I hope a few years down the road, these small bodies will be able to create raw images out of video, or just raw video. That will be the day where I just like drop everything and just buy Sony every year. If not every year, but if they find a way to get raw video out of the tiny Sony bodies, I will be ecstatic. And that day is coming, my friends. That day is coming. Give it about 5 years. You're going to have these little tiny Sony camera bodies outputting raw images. And it's going to be insane. I'm waiting for that day. Right now, Sony's dealing with an issue with, because of such a small body, they're packing so much, so much circuitry and processing power. It's easily going to overheat. Even at 4K indoors with the air conditioning on, my camera's shooting in 4K overheat. The Panasonic GH4 and GH5 don't have that issue simply because the sensor size is a lot smaller. And because the sensor size is a lot smaller, the images and file sizes are smaller. So the processor doesn't have to work as hard. So keep that in mind. Kalu says, "Thank you, teacher. You are welcome. You are very welcome, grasshopper." Halvin Wolf is asking, tips on shooting a master roll. So I'm assuming what you mean by master roll is just like the main roll, right? So you have the main shot, and then you have B-roll shot, C-roll. It depends what you're shooting, my friend. Usually on the main camera, I have it static. I just finished shooting a noir project. I posted an Instagram story about it. And what I did is that I had two cameras rolling. I had a main camera and then I had a B camera. The main camera I kept steady, definitely on a tripod, or even in the beginning of the noir video, I put on a slider and had it dolly in automatically. I had an automatic motor-powered slider. So dolly in and then just stay still. And then I would have the B-roll camera sometimes move, make it seem like it's handheld. So that's the kind of look I was going for. I think that your main camera, the main footage that you're working with has to be perfect, because B-roll, C-roll footage can look like crap, but you can always revert back to the main camera, and that camera has to be perfect. So take more time setting up the main shot than setting up the side shots. Always focus on the main camera first. That's my opinion. I mean, that's what I've done, and it's worked so far. So hopefully that taught you a little bit about setting up the master shot and just prioritizing your other cameras. CMAC is saying, yes, cost was my concern, just ready for a new camera, but really don't want to drop that much cash with lenses. Thank you for the reply. CMAC, let me know what camera and lenses you have currently. Maybe you don't even need to upgrade. Don't always think that just by upgrading that will make you a better photographer. I've seen some phenomenal iPhone footage and some phenomenal iPhone photography. So believe it or not, you can get away with just a smartphone if you want. The equipment is here to help better tell your story. Obviously, with the Sony cameras, you're gonna get better resolution, you're gonna get better results. But our smartphones, they do a decent job of getting HD and even 4K footage, and 12 megapixel stills don't look bad at all. So, still doable, guys. But if you do have the budget, definitely invest in some new gear. Again, lenses come first. Lenses always come first. Because companies won't upgrade lenses every year. I mean, if a company comes out with a new lens, it's going to be a completely different lens. If a company like Sony or Canon comes up with a new camera, it's going to be because it's in line with other cameras. So they're only going to make minor upgrades to it. Maybe a slightly bigger processor, more powerful processor, slightly better sensor. They're not going to completely wow you with the new specs because they want you to keep buying. That's just how they market the cameras. So that's why the Sony a7R Mark III doesn't have an 80 megapixel sensor, because that's coming, but they don't want you to have all the sweets first. They want you to eat the meat and potatoes first. So they're not going to jump the gun. Canon's not going to jump the gun, and Nikon's not going to jump the gun. They're going to release cameras with small spec improvements. The Sony A9, however, is a completely different beast. It's a completely different camera, brand new sensor, brand new focusing system. That is a different line of camera. So once the Sony A9 Mark II comes out, again, small increases of performance. They're not going to make it mind-blowing. So don't fall for that trap. Do not fall for that trap. Okay? Apple does the same thing with the iPhone 7, iPhone 8. Not a big gap in performance there. So keep that in mind. It's all a marketing strategy, guys. Again, lenses and lighting and other like basic camera accessories like a slider, tripod, those are the things that you need to be focusing on, not camera bodies. Raja, I don't see your question, my friend. So can you ask it again? I don't see any. You're asking me to reply, but I don't see your question. Mutahir is asking, hey bro, I hope I'm pronouncing your name right, by the way. Hey bro, how are you? I'm doing fine. I thought you were asking how old I was, but yeah, man, I'm fine. I'm waiting for Halloween tomorrow, so that'll be fun. CMAC says, currently using the Samsung NX500. I don't know that camera. And T7i. Oh, T7i, is that the latest Rebel that came out? I'm not following Canon anymore, so I'm just following. I'm focused on Sony right now, so I'm assuming that the T7i is the newest Rebel. Calusiu, will you prefer to use an additional monitor when using the crane? Honestly, no. If you're using the dual handle system, then maybe, but I have a huge King TV Argo gimbal, and even with that thing, I don't use an external monitor. Why? Because I want to be able to hold the camera for a longer time. I don't want to get tired too quickly. So I find a way to position the LCD screen on the camera so that I can see it in any direction that I point the camera in. I don't want to focus on a monitor. You're going to have to mount the monitor. The mount is heavy. The monitor is heavy. On top of that, you have to put on the battery, which is very, very heavy. You're not going to last long. And especially with the Jewin crane and the Crane 2, using the single-handed grip with a monitor, I mean, you're not going to last long, my friend. So focus on the LCD screen on your camera. By the way, that is going to be the most accurate picture you're getting. They put, the best LCD screens on these cameras because they want you to get the most accurate picture that's coming out of the sensor. With a monitor, you're going to have to calibrate it properly. Even with calibration, some monitors don't look exactly the same as what your camera is putting out. So don't always rely on the monitor for color. Rely on the monitor for framing and focus. A lot of videographers ask me about that. A monitor is not there for color. It's not. Unless you're you're using a very expensive monitor and a big monitor too. I've never focused on using a monitor for color. I use cheap monitors. That's why I just use my monitors for framing and focus. But when I took some film courses a few years ago, they had Panasonic monitors that were $2,000. Those are the types of monitors that you can pretty much depend on when it comes down to color. But if you're using like a small Lilliput 7-inch monitor that costs like $200-300, don't rely on that kind of monitor for color. It's focus and framing, period. Raja, I sent a mail regarding the color correction for my Sony a6000. Oh, did I not reply? I didn't see your email, my friend. Can you send it again? Kalus, because when doing some movement, I can't see the monitor of the Sony. So I cover this in in one of my tutorials with the gimbal. Even in professional shoots, a camera operator has to know how to do blind shooting. So my advice to you is to practice with your lens and camera setup, and you're gonna have to learn how to blind shoot. You really are. There are going to be different positions where you're not going to be able to see the LCD screen. Even with a monitor, you're not going to be able to see everything all the time. If you feel like you really need a monitor, I mean, I guess you can mount it onto the crane. But again, the weight is a killer. And if you're using the single-handed grip, my friend, I mean, it's going to be tough. It's going to be really, really tough. And I see some people post pictures of the ridiculous setups, like with the single-handed setup. They got the microphone, the light, the monitor, and I'm like, dude, that thing must weigh like 25 pounds. You should not do that to yourself, guys. Find other ways to rig stuff up. Don't think that more is better. It's not. You're overcomplicating the setup. You're probably going to have an accident down the road. Maybe something might not be tightened enough. I mean, the gimbal is just meant for your camera. That's it. It's just meant for your camera. Don't mount anything else on the gimbal unless you have the proper setup like a dual handle system. And even with that, I mean, I don't recommend all this crazy stuff. If your gimbal was not built for it, which it most likely wasn't, don't do it. At most, I would probably mount a microphone on my crane. That's it. A microphone is light. Lights and monitors are very, very heavy, and it will kill you. Trust me. Been there, done that. Matahir Mir is saying, hey bro, I just made our team promo using the Wieldy, which is like a glide cam stabilizer, and a 14mm lens. Wow, awesome. How can I show you? Email me, my friend. Email me at info. Here, let me type it in the chat. At capturethemomentum.com. Okay. Techno Extreme is saying small HD focus weighs almost nothing and works very well with the crane and A6500. Okay, good. Now, it weighs well with the A6500. How much does the A6500 weigh? It's a very small camera. Try putting on a 5D Mark IV with the small HD monitor. That's going to weigh a lot. 5D Mark IV with the 24-105 lens, L series lens, and a small HD monitor. And, I'm a big guy. I work out. That, for me, will be tough to hold with one hand for 3 to 5 minutes. That will get me really, really tired. So, and since the crane doesn't have separate ports for mounting accessories, they only have that tripod port. That's another issue because you're not going to be able to set the crane down because you're using that port to that port to mount other accessories. I had a Freudian slip there, but you're using that port to mount other accessories. So that port is used up. So you can't really set it down on that tabletop tripod. So it's tough, guys. It's really, really tough. Avish is asking, is a filmmaker needed to learn cinematography? Yes. Yes. Halvin Wolf, maybe you're trying to ask me something else. Maybe you can ask a different question, but the answer is yes, definitely. Halvin Wolf, wireless, small HD. Honestly, I would not recommend using a wireless monitor, even for focus, just for framing. Not even for framing. I mean, sometimes I use my phone to help me out with framing when I'm shooting myself, like in an interview or like whenever I'm doing a product release or product review. Um, but if you're shooting something that's like that has a lot of movement, wireless is not good because there's a lot of lag in wireless. So I always recommend a connection, a solid connection, cable connection between a monitor and the camera. Wireless, not so great. Wi-Fi has a lot of lag. Bluetooth has a lot of lag, so I don't recommend it. Only maybe for like if you're shooting like an interview because there's not much movement going on. That's fine. But if you're shooting like a Rob Rich's video, like a workout video, wireless is not gonna do you any good. Arif is asking how to use springs in a gimbal. Don't know. Don't know. Maybe you can ask me a different way. I don't really understand that question, unfortunately, but maybe you can just elaborate more, and I'll let you know. Kalus is saying, okay, I will accept your advice. Thank you, teacher, again. Thank you, Kalus, for watching again. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. If I'm not, please let me know. Techno Extreme is asking, if I were to hire an editor and supply footage for 2.5, 3-minute video, what should I be prepared to pay? Should I pay by the hour or by project? Honestly, it depends. If it's a quick project, do it by hour. If it's a big project, do it by project. Yeah, quick things I do per hour. Like if I were to edit, like if I just do it per hour. Like a 5-hour edit, yeah, I do it per hour. But if it's like a huge like 2-hour thing, which I've done before, I do it by project. And project usually includes filming and editing and all that other stuff. Oh, I'm sorry, I misread your question. So you're asking if I hire an editor and supply footage for 2.5. Yes, then you should pay by the hour. Forgive me. I thought you were meaning as a combo, as a package. Yeah, per hour I think would be a better result. Team Matt Visions. Hey guys, I have a question. Where can I find a storyboard template? Google. They have some good storyboard templates. Yeah. Usually storyboard templates, what they look like, they have little squares where you can draw out each scene, and then they have a few lines under the squares where you can write down what's happening in the scene. So yeah, Google it. That's fine. There's no specific website you would need to go to. Just Google it, download an image, and print it out. So yeah, my friends, that's right. Halvin says that he's been working on a lot of storyboards lately. All right, awesome, man. I wish that the chat allowed us to post like pictures of what we're doing. That would be really cool, because I would love to see some of your guys' work, and just chat on YouTube is so weird. You can't share links on it, unfortunately. Aaron Doolittle, what's up, dude? First, love the tutorials. Thank you. I was wondering what the best settings you have found for the Crane version 2. So, since I have the Crane version 2, I mean, I can definitely help you out with this question. I just leave it at default. I haven't touched the motor parameters at all. I've messed with them, but honestly, I haven't. I shoot on the Sony A9 with the 16-35 most of the time, and I thought the default settings were fine. The only setting I did have to change was the power of the motors, and there's a little drop down. I think there's 3 options. There's light, medium, and strong. I chose strong since my Sony A9 and 16-35 weigh quite a bit, so I want the motors to be at the most powerful setting. Any more questions, my friends? Very good questions today. Very good live stream. A lot of people are participating, which is good. Also, for those of you who don't know, I released a new video this morning, and it's all about comparing the best gimbals on the market, and I have all of them except for the Crane 2. But yes, it's online. Check it out. If you have any doubts, if you're trying to figure out which gimbal to buy, this video is exactly what you need, and you'll be surprised with what I think is the best gimbal out there. You really would be surprised. It's not going to be what you're expecting, and I know exactly what you're expecting. So check out that video. It's 15 minutes long. I go in depth about what's right and wrong with each gimbal. So check it out and let me know what you think. And again, as I said before, you're going to be surprised with the gimbal that I choose. You really will be. Yeah. Aaron Doolittle says, thank you. I'm using a G85, so I have to set that at medium. Perfect. Yes, set it at medium. And another good way to decide which motor power you set it at is set your Crane on the table like this and just tap the lens and see how it bounces. Does the whole camera bounce quite a bit, or is it pretty stiff? If it's stiff, that's what you want. If it's a little bouncy, I would, crank up that motor power. Yeah. Alberto Martinez, what's up, my friend? I see you use a lot of affiliate links. Are you making decent money off of it? I mean, yeah, it just pays for gas and some bills. Why not? So basically how Amazon affiliates work, you get 4% off of each buy, off of each referral from each link. There are some purchases where you can get 10%, but it's listed in Amazon's terms and conditions or whatever. But most purchases, electronics specifically, which is my field, electronics, you get 4% commission. So definitely recommend it. Sign up for Amazon affiliates. If you get enough traffic to your website or your YouTube channel, it definitely is going to help you out. If you go to a lot of tech YouTube channels and you look in their description boxes, the affiliate links are there. Now here's the thing. Here's the thing. I want to share a little bit of a secret with you that a lot of people don't know. But if you go to a lot of filmmakers' YouTube channels, they post links that direct you to another website that show you their kit. And if you click on the links on that site, it directs you to the Amazon affiliate site. That is wrong. Don't do that. The more work you make your viewers do, the less of a chance you are going to get a sale. That is why I put a lot of my affiliate links directly in the description of the videos. That way you make your viewer work less. The less amount of clicks they have to make, the more of a chance they are going to make a purchase. Remember that. So I see a lot of YouTube channels out there with affiliate links that direct people to another affiliate site, that direct people to another affiliate site. You are going to lose your conversion. So basically how this works is that you want to convert viewers into paying customers. So that's where that, the term conversion rate comes from. Convert your viewers into paying customers. So I'm trying to promote products that are the most relevant to what I do, and a lot of people are happy with it because they're buying it from Amazon, which is a very, it's the most trusted marketplace on the planet. So I decided to go with Amazon for that reason. So take that into consideration. If you have a YouTube channel and you get, decent traffic, definitely use affiliate links, guys. But don't make your audience work too hard. people want to make one-click purchases. That's it. So consider that. All right. Aaron Doolittle. I bought the per gear for the crane version 2. And thanks for that suggestion. It works great. Awesome, man. Yeah, the per gear, honestly, I'll be honest with you guys. The per gear tabletop tripod, I've sold hundreds of those things. They're cheap and they're reliable. And unfortunately, because I sold so many, they increased the price. They increased it by $1. So the per gear tabletop tripod is definitely one of the best sellers on my videos. I've sold hundreds of those things, and because of that, the demand was so high for tabletop tripods. I was in shock when I looked at my Amazon statistics. I was in shock how many I'm selling. So they increased the price by $1. Honestly, it went from $7.99 to $8.99. It's really not a big deal. So people are still buying it like crazy. So that's awesome. Lewis is asking, when you're doing a slider movement with the crane and tripod, do you switch the crane to L mode? What's L mode? Can you explain to me what L mode is? Edgar Enriquez, hey bro, I bought my crane M recently. What best camera can you advise that's really compatible for my crane? So basically, smaller mirrorless cameras like Canon PowerShots, the Canon G7X, Sony a6500 with a small lens is perfect for the crane M, that type of stuff. Oh, Calus, lock mode. Okay, sorry about that. I didn't catch on to that. So do you need to switch to lock mode? I don't switch. I'm trying to remember what mode I switched in. So if I'm lifting up the crane, yes. Are you talking about the slider? Yes, I switch it into lock mode. You are absolutely right. I'm just thinking about what I did. Yes, it's definitely lock mode. Good catch. Yes, lock mode. That's definitely what it is. Alberto says, I use a 50mm 1.8. Do you recommend upgrading to the 1.4 USM? Yes. I also have a 50mm 1.8. A 1.4 and a 1.8 make a pretty big difference, especially when it comes to bokeh and getting that shallower depth of field. And it also depends on the camera that you're using. If you're using a full-frame camera, you're really going to see a big difference there. If you're using an APS-style camera, which is a crop sensor camera, you might not see a huge difference compared to a full-frame camera, but you will still see a slight of a difference. So yes, in my opinion, you will see a difference between a 1.8 and a 1.4. And for those of you who are new to filmmaking, 1.8, and when a camera says it's, or a lens says it's f1.8 or f1.4, that's basically a fraction or a ratio of the opening of the iris in the lens. So for those of you who want, so f actually stands for fraction, by the way. It stands for fraction. Yeah. So 1.8, 1.4, you will see a difference. Any more questions, my friends? Any more questions? How do you recommend building a portfolio as a filmmaker? Very good question, Alberto. You're coming up with a lot of good questions here. So when you're building up a portfolio, I recommend working with bigger clients, the biggest clients you can find. If you're in a small town and it's difficult to find clients, make sure that the people that you're working with, let me think about this, because I'm in LA, it's very easy to work with bigger clients. But if you're in a smaller town, okay, let me reword this. If you're working with smaller clients, just make sure that your work is kick-ass. Make sure that you are proud of your work. And on top of that, make sure that your friends and family are proud of your work. Your friends are probably going to not tell you the utmost truth because they want you to still feel good, but your family's probably going to be more direct with you and give you more of an honest opinion when you show them your work. So Show your family your work and see what they have to say. They usually offer the best critique. And then go to your friends and ask them what they think. And then compare and contrast what your family has said and what your friends are saying. And that is how you're going to start building your portfolio. Vimeo and YouTube are obviously the best places where you can upload your work. YouTube is better because it has more traction and it has more viewership than Vimeo. Once you do that, start creating a page on a website and post your work on that page. Then make sure that when you create your business cards that you have the link to your website on that business card, so that way they'll be directed right to your portfolio. That's how you're going to start getting the word out. But I don't recommend showing people a portfolio with only like 2 or 3 videos. Have at least 6 videos, 5 or 6 videos. If you're having trouble finding work, work for free. In order to get that portfolio completed, work for free. And you will be able to fill that portfolio up really quickly because a lot of people need free filmmakers, believe it or not. So work for free and build that portfolio. Halvin Wolf is asking, is it a digital portfolio? Yes. Keep it digital. No more DVDs, no more Blu-rays. Stay out of that. You don't need it. It's a hassle and it downgrades quality. Everything should be digital now, guys. So when you deliver projects to clients, if they don't want it on YouTube, put it on a USB stick or send it through Dropbox or file mail or something like that. But DVDs are extinct. Unfortunately, that's how it is. DVDs are gone. They're never coming back. Blu-rays are gone. They're never coming back. Stick to digital formats. So USB sticks and all of that. And make sure that you always keep the final copy of that video that you made for your client. So in case they lose it, you can just revert back to it, grab it, and give it to them. I recommend that you hold on to the raw footage of each project for about 3 months or so. After that, delete it. You don't need it. After 3 months, if they haven't reached out to you, I mean, 3 months is 90 days. That's a pretty good amount of time. You can delete the raw footage unless you want to use it for your portfolio. But always hold on to the final project. Always hold on to the final project because you never know. They might be coming back and asking you for it. So it's always good to have that final project. But yeah, good question. Thank you for asking that. Any more questions? Bum 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 bum. For those of you who are in Los Angeles, I'm actually going to, most likely, I'm going to Universal Studios Horror Nights tomorrow evening, because it's Halloween and I need to get scared, so I'm going to be going. Yep. Pana Kinga, hi, what do you think about the Sony a6300? I love that camera. Do I own it? No, so I can't give you specifics about it. But it's compact, it's great in low light, great for focus. But if you have a little bit more cash, I would save up for the Sony a6500. It's a newer camera, it has more features for you. So yeah, definitely go for the a6500 if you can afford it. If not, save money and get the a6500. I mean, it's a pretty close, price range. Work with it and try to get the best you can. If you're going to spend thousands of dollars, you might as well spend a little bit more and get the better camera. CMAC 2013 says, one more. Ask away, my friend. Keep asking questions. Please, 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 please. I am your knowledge base. And by the way, guys, if my channel or live streams help you in any way, please share this with your friends. Share the channel with your friends. And you can also throw me a super chat. It's a little $ icon below. That's a donation to the channel, and it helps me continue making content for you guys. So I would appreciate any of that. That would go a long way for this channel. Thank you very much. CMAC 2013, do you think the A9 pricing will drop quickly? Why would you buy an A9 over the new Sony a7R Mark III? Well, here's the thing. The Sony A9 has a revolutionary new technology in the sensor, and that is the ability to have crazy autofocus. Will I think the Sony A9, will it drop in price anytime soon? Not for another 5 months or so, in my opinion. Not until the new A9 comes out, which actually won't be for another year at least. The Sony A9 is a badass camera. It has a ton of features. When it comes down to video especially, it will produce better images than the Sony A7R Mark III because it gets 6K full scan of the sensor, which means that every pixel is being used on the sensor. The Sony A7R series, it doesn't happen. It uses pixel binning technology, which means that it merges pixels together to produce one pixel. So it's, you're not getting the cleanest picture quality ever. Alberto, thank you so much for the kind donation, bro. I really appreciate it. Thank you so much. I appreciate that so much. So to finish answering your question, CMAC, why would you buy an A9 over the new A7R III? It's because of the focusing technology. It's because of that focusing technology and the shooting burst rate. So the Sony A7R Mark III can shoot at a maximum of 10 bursts. The Sony A9 shoots at double that at 20 bursts. So basically you can shoot almost video, but you're taking stills. You're taking 20 images per second. It's phenomenal. No other camera on the market does that. So that's why the Sony is so much more expensive, because it has that focusing technology and that insane burst rate. So there you go. Kaluis Yu, will you teach about frames per second? What would you like to learn about frames per second? You want to know the differences between 24, 30, and 60? Or yeah, if you have any film rate. What do you mean film rate? Can you elaborate on that? You mean how much you should charge? Because I already have a video on that. I have a video on how to make a contract and how much you should charge, which I need to update that video, by the way. I need to update that video. Yeah. Guys, if you want me to make a tutorial on anything regarding filmmaking, email me at info@capturethemomentum.com. Please email me with video suggestions, okay? info@capturethemomentum.com. It goes right to me. I don't have an assistant who looks that over. It goes right to me. I see every single email that you guys send, okay? If I don't reply, send me another email, because I do get a ton of emails every day. So keep sending me emails until I reply. Don't give up. Keep sending me emails. I preached, I think, in every single live stream I do, I preach that. So make sure you keep emailing me. Okay? Dun, 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 dun. Ezra Moran got a video about the Crane 2. I don't. Unfortunately, I don't have the Crane 2. I want them to send it to me for review. I'm waiting. So if I get my hands on the Crane 2, you are going to see that review, my friend. Kellis is asking, I just don't know too much about the film rate. Are you asking me about charging, like how much you should charge for filmmaking, or frames per second, like the frame rate? So I need you to elaborate on that, please. That way I can explain to you what that is all about. So let me know. Any more questions, guys? It's a good live stream. You guys are asking some good questions. You're making me think here. I like that. It's engaging. Films per second. So I mean, you mean frames per second. You mean frames per second. What would you want to learn about frames per second? Like which 24, 60, 30, like which one do you want to? Okay, here we go. 24, 25, 30, 60, 120. Okay. Ezra, let me answer your question really quick because it's a simple answer. Ezra is asking, I don't know if you can help me with this, but my camera has a dead pixel. It is a Canon 7 Ti. I think you mean it's a 7, it's a Rebel, right? Does it have a fix? Can you fix the dead pixel on the camera? You can't, unfortunately. Some cameras, what they do, every month, the sensor cleans its cache and it refreshes all of the pixels. And it does that to not get a dead pixel. Since the sensor technology has changed, I don't know if the newer cameras do that, but I knew when I had my 5D, I think it did something like that. But if you literally have a dead pixel in every single video that you shoot, the only way you can fix that is by masking out that pixel in editing. That's the only way you can fix it, unfortunately. You can fix it only in editing. There's nothing hardware-wise you can do to it unless you take it in for service and they have to replace the sensor. I never luckily had that issue, but be positive. Be 100% sure that it is a dead pixel and not a speck of dust, because that usually happens. You can get a tiny little speck of dust on the sensor and it can look like a dead pixel, but it's not. So make sure it's not that speck of dust. Kalus U, which do you prefer to use always with frame rates? So each shoot requires a different frame rate. If I'm shooting something that doesn't have a lot of movement and needs to have more of that film-like look, I shoot at 24 frames per second. With 24 frames per second, you're going to get a lot of that motion blur, and that provides like a more cinematic feel. 25 frames per second is a European standard. You don't shoot in 25 frames per second in the United States. This is more of a European thing. 30 frames per second is, you know, what the Americas shoot at. 30 frames per second, I rarely shoot at that frame rate, but you're going to get smoother, clear images compared to 24. You're going to get slightly less motion blur. It's going to give you more of that homemade video look. However, I never shoot at 30 frames per second. I would rather shoot at 60 frames per second. So how do frame rates work? Basically what a frame is, it's a still image, and video cameras are photo cameras. You're just taking still images per second, and then the camera is processing those images together, and it's playing back all those images per second in order to create motion. So when you're saying you're shooting at 60 frames per second, you're shooting 60 pictures per second, and it's playing back. So here's the thing, 60 frames per second is a great frame rate to shoot at, especially with fast moving objects. That way you get less of that motion blur, and you will be able to slow down that footage in post-production. Because usually when we output video, we output it at 29.998 frames per second, or 30 frames per second, because that's usually what we do. So if you shoot something at 60 frames per second and output it at 30 frames per second, you're going to get half the speed. You're going to get slow motion at 50%. So if you take 120 frames per second and export it at 30 frames per second, you are going to get 25% slower motion. Or sorry, 75% slower motion. So it's a little bit of math, but that's how frame rates work. So another good thing to remember is when you're shooting green screen work, always shoot at a higher frame rate. Never shoot at 24 frames per second, because that motion blur will actually have that green seep through your fingers. So I like to shoot at 60 or even 120 frames per second, because we're taking more images, more stills, and you're going to get sharper results, and you're going to get less of that green seeping through. So don't shoot at 24 frames per second when you're shooting on a green screen. It's just not going to look good. It's not going to look clean. That motion blur is going to let that green seep through. and you don't want that. All right, so I hope that answered your question. Feel free. I'm going to leave this live stream up after it's done, so if you want to check back and write down some notes, I strongly recommend that you do that. Any more questions, my friends? Any more? Did you guys hear that crack in my neck? Oh. Halvin Wolf, bro, I haven't talked to you in a while. How you been? How's LA treating you? Alberto is asking, when do live streams usually happen? Honestly, I don't plan them. They happen when I have free time at home and I want to talk to you guys. So I don't usually have a schedule for live streams. So unfortunately, but yeah. Halvin Wolf says, everything is good, man. Awesome. Any new shoots with Mattel? Halvin Wolf is a great photographer, guys. You can see his work on Instagram. Check him out. Yeah, it's really cool stuff. Ezra is asking, could you make a video later on masking a dead pixel? I'm positive it is because I can see it with the cap on, no light enters, and it's still shiny white dot. Oh, it's white. Oh, so it might not be a dead pixel. Dead pixels are usually black. So what you're referring to is what we call a stuck pixel. So it's basically a pixel stuck on a specific color. Dead pixels are usually darker. They're burnt. They're burnt pixels. They're dead. They don't work. A white pixel you might be able to fix, and you're not going to like the fix. You're not. You're going to have to open up the camera body. You're going to take a cotton swab. You gently poke at the location of the stuck pixel. You're going to poke around. And a lot of the time, you're going to add a little bit of pressure. Not too much. Don't break the glass on the sensor. But you're going to add a little bit of pressure. You know, keep tapping a little bit for a few minutes. And sometimes a stuck pixel will pop back into place. It will start working again. You just got to, you know, poke around a little bit. I actually had this issue on some of my monitors with stuck pixels. And usually if you poke around, some of those pixels can come back to life. So try that out and see if that works. If not, you know, I'd rather have you send your camera in for service if it's under warranty still. But I think it's a stuck pixel and not a dead pixel. So that's usually a better sign than having a dead pixel, because a dead pixel is unrepairable. Halvin Wolf says that he's busy with his YouTube series and rewriting scripts and storyboards. Awesome, man. Proud of you, bud. Good job. Kalus Yu says, your video helped me so much. Thank you. Awesome, bro. Thank you so much. Which video? Let me know which video helped you out. Brian, finally made it to another live stream. How's everyone doing? What's up, Brian? How you doing, guys? I have two monitors here, so if I look up, that's because I'm looking at the questions. And my laptop monitor is where the camera is. So I'm sorry if my eyes keep going up. It's because I'm looking at questions. Yeah. Any more questions, guys? Kalus is saying, thank you so much for the videos about the crane and drone. You are welcome. You know what's funny, though? I did some research, and I noticed a lot of my subscribers unsubscribed because I stopped doing drone videos. And there is a reason for that. I didn't stop. I just started making less of them, and that is because I don't want to be typecast as the drone guy. I want to be typecast as the filmmaking guy. So I don't want to constantly. It's happening to another guy I know on YouTube. He did very, very well for like 6 months because he updated his channel with new drone videos. And then he started running out of ideas because he's done everything regarding drones. So I don't want to be that guy that just focuses on drones, because if you do that, you're going to eventually run out of ideas. I want to focus on filmmaking and all the aspects regarding filmmaking. That way I can constantly freshen up the channel with different content. So I'm sort of rebuilding my YouTube channel with different subscribers and different viewers. I want filmmakers to watch my videos, not just drone operators. So I hope that makes sense, guys. So yeah. Aaron Doolittle, are you down for meeting up in Los Angeles? I found a new product and I think you might be interested in it. Yeah, man, email me. Email me, Aaron. Definitely want to talk to you about that. What kind of product is it? Ezra is saying, thank you. I'm following you since the GlideCam tutorial you made. I recommend you watching James Matthews' channel. Oh, James Matthews is also very good. Yeah, he's a great filmmaker. And Peter McKinnon. Oh, Peter McKinnon is top notch. I know you have potential. Thank you so much, Ezra. I really appreciate that. Thank you. Again, I would be nothing without you guys. I mean, 23,000 subs already. That's fantastic. I never thought I would make it this far. So that really means a lot. My next goal is 50,000, then 100, then 200. So I want to see this channel explode. So only you guys can make that happen. So if you can share this channel with your friends and family, that would be fantastic. The more the merrier. Let's make this a huge filmmaking community, all right? Let's make it big. Brian says, do you have any hacks or tips on how to record yourself if your camera doesn't have a flip out screen? Yes, use a monitor. If your camera has Wi-Fi capability, hook up your phone to it. Hopefully they have an app. I know Panasonic and Sony does. I'm not sure about Canon. I think Canon does too, but my Panasonic and Sony cameras have that Wi-Fi option, so I'm able to see myself through my smartphone. And if I get into a situation where I'm really picky about latency and lag of video, I hook up an external monitor. So that's what I do. Aaron Doolittle, it is a steady pod. I just got it. It replaces my tripod, monopod, and handheld stabilizer. It's made by Eddie Barber. Interesting. Interesting. Pavan. Welcome, Pavan. I hope I'm pronouncing your name right. Hi, please name the best Steadicam. Electronic or manual? Which one? Aaron Doolittle, I use an addition to my Crane V2 mostly because of your video that showed using the crane with a tripod. That was great. Thank you so much, man. Yeah, that video got really good traction. A lot of people like that, using a tripod and a gimbal. You can get some phenomenal shots, and it replaces a lot of tools that you won't really need. A gimbal does a lot, and using that with a tripod, you can just be endless with the types of shots you can get. Halvin Wolf, how's the algorithm issue been? So, in the month of September, I'll get personal with you guys. I'm not scared to share you some of my statistics on my YouTube channel. On average, I was doing about 2,000 subs a month, which is phenomenal. Last year, I went from doing barely 200 subs to 2,000 a month. Fantastic. And then in the month of September, something crazy happened where my subscriber rate split in half. So from 2,000 it went to 1,000. Right? Out of nowhere. It was actually the day after my birthday where the drop happened. What a great birthday gift from YouTube, right? I don't know what happened. My best videos got half of their views after that day. And it's still a crappy algorithm, I'm not going to lie. The search and discovery algorithm now is god-awful. It's already bad enough that they took away subscribers from seeing updates on our channel. They have to press a notification button now. And I looked at my stats, and only 10% of my subscribers are watching my videos. The other 90% is coming from new viewers, which is okay, but I would rather have my subscribers engage with my content as well. Only 10%? That's awful. What the hell is the point of having subscribers if only of having all these subscribers, if only 10% of the people are notified that you release new content. So what's happening right now is that my channel is slowly healing itself. I think some of the issue came from people unsubscribing from my channel because I'm not focusing on drones anymore. I'm focusing wider. Wider. I'm focusing on a bigger picture now. Filmmaking, not just drones, but filmmaking. So I feel like a lot of drone owners got really upset that I did that, and they're unsubscribing for that reason. So I think that kind of impacted my stats. So it's the algorithm definitely impacted a bit. I think about 70%, 70 to 80%, the algorithm kind of screwed my channel. And the other 20-30% is coming from people unsubscribing because I am not focusing on drones as much anymore. So I'm doing it for the better. I don't want to be typecast. I don't want to run out of ideas for drones. So I'm broadening my horizons for tutorials and review videos. So I hope you guys understand the reasoning behind that. So that's what's happening with the YouTube channel. Brian is asking, what if I don't have either? I've watched some videos using their phone as a monitor, but I'm not quite sure how reliable it is, especially for vlogging. If you don't have other and you don't have a flip out screen, you're not going to be able to properly view yourself. So yes, there's going to be lagging if you're using a smartphone to monitor yourself. So you're going to have to choose whether you want to use a monitor, like a wired monitor, or a smartphone monitor. Honestly, my experience with the smartphone, it's been decent. It's not been always reliable, like you said. Ezra says, I bought a glide cam because of your video. Sadly, I have it collecting dust because it spins slowly when I use it. It even shakes like crazy before using it, and it is rock steady. It pans at the moment. Have you seen every single glide cam video that I released, Ezra? I released, I think, 40 different glide cam videos, even ones that are troubleshooting the issues that you're having. So consider watching that, please, and let me know. Ezra says, see D4 Darius channel. I think it is what you're aiming for, and more hardware tone. He focuses on scripts and actors. Yeah, eventually I want to get into acting because I am very knowledgeable in acting. I've been trained in theater for over 15 years. Actually, 25 now, so it's been, wow, 20 years. Been acting for 20 years. Been quite a while. So yeah, eventually when I get my channel big enough, like 100,000 subs, I would love to start teaching a little bit of acting. That would be great. Halvin Wolf, tips on shooting noir film. Definitely shoot at 24 frames per second because that motion blur really adds to that picturesque, to that style, and lighting is key. So basically how I shot my noir, it was basically like an interrogation scene, but noir style. So costuming is obviously important, and lighting I think is the biggest key thing here. So what happened is I set up 2 Fresnel lights in the back pointing down. Yes, I have a hole in my shirt, I know. I have 2 Fresnel lights pointing down. They're daylight colored, so they're white lights pointing down, lighting up the actors in the back. Right, they have that nice glow in the back from those Fresnel lights. And then I have 2 big LED panels cross-lighting the actors. So that's how I lit up the scene, and I shot at a very cool white balance. I don't remember the number, but it was set to a pretty cool bluish white balance. So if I decide to leave a little bit of color there in editing, I have that option, and I did, and it looks phenomenal. I have a picture of it on my Instagram. If you scroll down my feed, you'll see it. And you also have the option of shooting of editing it in black and white. Never ever shoot something in black and white, because if you go into editing and you realize, oh damn, I wish I did this in color because some of the mood, requires color, you're going to be screwed. So don't shoot with picture settings that are detrimental to your editing. They're going to cause issues for your editing. So consider that. Pavan, best manual Steadicam. I'm confused which to buy. Can you name some? Cam Gear. Cam Gear is great. So here is Cam Gear. Cam Gear Flowcam 4000. So these guys sponsored me, but I gave them an honest review of what I thought about their their stabilizer. It's a great stabilizer, especially for like 150 bucks. That's the best one you can buy. So check that out. And I have videos on it as well. Ezra says, haha, we are the same age. Cool. Awesome, man. Kaluas, thanks again. See you next time. Have a nice day. To you as well, my friend. MC Drone, what's up, man? Haven't heard or seen you in a while, man. Welcome back. It's great to see you. Halvin Wolf says, thanks. I'm considering to include a tiny bit of film noir into my series. Awesome, bro. Share it with me when you have a chance. I'd love to take a look. Yeah. Great job, you guys. Awesome. So we've been online for over an hour. Again, guys, if this live stream has helped you out in any way, please share it, give it a like, share. Most importantly, share the channel, Momentum Productions, with your friends and family and anybody who's interested in filmmaking. I want to make this one of the biggest filmmaking communities up on YouTube. So please help me, just help me achieve that dream. And we will succeed as a pack, as a group, as a family. So let's do it together, guys. I'm sure we can do it. I'm sure we can impact the filmmaking world with our knowledge. And again, I'm learning from you guys as well. All right, so it's give and take from both sides. All right, so I really appreciate all of you guys. And please, if you can, just take some time and share this channel with your friends and family. The more shares we get, the more subscribers and viewership we get. So your help is extremely important. And if you want, you can also, another great way to support the channel is to throw a super chat. There's a little $ icon under the chat. You can throw 50 cents, $1, as much as you want, as little as you want. Any donation helps, and it allows me to purchase gear to review. Not all of the gear that I get is free, so it helps me purchase gear simply for the review videos, and that will allow you to make better purchasing decisions on your end. All right, so I really appreciate you guys watching. Take care. Thank you so much, and I will talk to you soon. And send me some of your work. Please send me some of your work. info@capturethemomentum.com. My website is capturethemomentum.com, so if you want to see some of the work that I'm doing, you can watch it there, or you just keep being updated with my content on my YouTube channel. Thank you guys so much for watching. I'll talk to you soon. Bye-bye.